Oh, wow. Okay. Messed that one up. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining me on day 28 of Proverbs 12. And we're on the last part of chapter 12. But before that, thank you for waking up if you're here this morning. Whether you're watching this in the morning, watching this afternoon during a lunch break, you're fubbing around and you just see something. Thank you for coming. And really appreciate you joining me on the journey of getting through Proverbs in 365 days. We are on day 28 and the last verse of chapter 12. Let's go ahead and read this together. In the path of righteousness is life, and in its pathway there is no death. Um, in the path of righteousness, in its pathway, talking about the path of righteousness. They're actually talking only about one thing is I guess this is the culmination of all of chapter 12. That's basically what they're talking about. And here's my little initial thoughts on it before I went to commentary. And I did go to commentary. And so, main thing for chapter 12 is if this is the culmination, is talking about your path of life, the path you decide to walk on in your decisions on life. And if you decide to walk on the path of righteousness, which is following Jesus, and your intention is to be a life giving force for yourself and a life giving force to others, that you will exude life. I'm not saying that you're materially going to be having the life, which would be the materialistic way of having life, which is having all the money and being uh, rich and being able to buy whatever you want. Being in the path of righteousness, it's not saying that you're going to be materialistically rich, but you're going to have wealth in other areas, which is wealth in your relationships with other people and wealth in your relationships with yourself. It's a spiritual and relational wealth that cannot be found when you're focused on material wealth. And the thing about material wealth is that it could be seductive into the wicked side, where your focus is making sure you're getting as much money as you can, saving as much money as you can. There's nothing wrong with that kind of mentality of saving money and making sure you're financially stable, which is actually you have to end up kind of do anyways in your life, but that's not your focus. When you're doing your daily grind of working your job, which is, as you will know, after 80 days of listening to me, for those of you who've been following me, yeah, I'm an educator. I daily do my job in working. And the interesting thing is, I don't do my job for the sake of just working and making the money. And yes, I'm doing my time and I do make six figures and all that kind of stuff, but um I'm not there to get a paycheck. I actually want my students to learn and grow and to get out of high school and to graduate and to do their best and to have a lifestyle of working hard, of grinding it out and doing what they need to do to make sure they're successful in this life. And a part of that is, and I think it's percentage wise better if you try and grind and work really hard. It's a surefire way of having a higher percentage of being successful. If you foster a life of hard work and diligence in those matters, your whole life will be that way, and it's that life which will help you be a better person, and people will see that, and people will come to appreciate and be encouraged by the things that you do. Uh, you become a leader, as in a part of part of a group of people that other people look up to, and actually as you are learning your craft and doing the best that you can in your craft, you become a veteran of the craft, which other people will come to you for advice or help or whatever, because you are seen as someone who is dependable, works hard, and knows what they're doing, as opposed to those other people, which is unfortunate because my children are in a school, and I'm not saying every school is perfect or their teachers are always perfect. And if you find you're just trying to make ends meet and you are only working for the sake of getting a paycheck and you're cutting corners and not really doing things to help the people that you are working for teachers, it would be the students. The purpose of a teacher is to help the student progress or the child progress into the next level. If you're not doing that and you're just doing videos and worksheets and not really interacting with the student, then that's not you're not doing your job as an educator. You're to educate. And so that means there's this interaction that you have with the student. Um, you're kind of like a disciple and you're discipling your students and giving them life advice, encouraging them not to give up, to teaching them new skills is useful for them as they progress through the different grade levels. And as an educator, it's a very important task of raising our youth. And if you're not doing that, then what are you doing in this job? You're just abusing the system is basically what it is. Yes, technically you're doing the work and being a glorified babysitter, but you're not a babysitter. You are a teacher. A teacher teaches. So do it that way. If not, let someone else take your position to do the job that you can't do anymore. So you're old, you're tired, you're fed up. Yeah, you're not enthusiastic about it anymore. So what? Like people can get tired. What Either take a break, recalibrate your life, something, whatever it takes to go ahead and make sure that you're living a life, a path of righteousness, which is um you yourself are a life giver to others. A life that is positive, a life that is looking up, the life that is the betterment of yourself, as in relational and spiritual benefit. Um, Peace, patience, kindness. You're teaching others, you're learning from your mistakes. Your mindset is for hard work and positivity. Okay. And you want to exude that and impress upon that on your students. Okay. That they could do it. And that's the pathway that leads to not death, not your own personal ruin. But if you are not doing your job, like is happening with a couple people that I've been hearing about from my children's job, school, people talk about it, and you're building a reputation of negativity. They have negative thoughts towards you. So I don't know. If you're going to really do this pathway, it's not an easy life. I know shortcuts are really a thing to go for, and I can see how people would want to take shortcuts to try to make the big buck, or take shortcuts into teaching. The shortcuts is the teaching is not teaching, but looking like you're teaching, but everyone knows that you're not teaching. If you know what I mean? So putting the video and giving worksheets is a thing. Uh, I I I want to say I'm guilty of that. It's because of the issue of not having the right curriculum. So I'm using ChatGPT to help me put together my curriculum. But I'm putting together curriculum. I'm teaching my students um, how to do the English language in reading and writing. And so, in whatever form that I get my curriculum, just as long as I'm getting it out and I'm actually teaching my students how to how to speak, basically, how to write, how to read and analyze. So I'm still doing those things, even though I'm taking a shortcut in creating curriculum. It's because we don't have it. We don't have curriculum on our own, or the ones that we have are not good. And I'm too tired to come up with my own curriculum every single friggin' day. It's hard. So, anyways, that's how I'm trying to be positive force is using the tools that I have to teach. So, anyways, and yes, teachers out there, if you're having a hard time always coming up with the most creative curriculum and lesson plan and everything, you could either use Teacher Pay Teacher, which I use a lot, or you can use ChatGPT. I had Chat go ahead and organize my whole last month of teaching while I was reading a book called what was it? The 57 Bus. And so yeah, and it was a really good lesson plan that I put together. And actually, I adjusted it over time as I was seeing how the lessons were going. And I did adjust my overall, but I did. It was literally 18 days of doing this, and then for my other class, my ELD class, I was working on, and I was trying to match it up so that we have a final at the end because we just had finals. Today is our last final, and then I'm into winter break and moving to my new house. So I'm very excited and I'm glad the year's over. But I do have to grade papers and stuff like that, which is the grinding life of teachers. Oh, gotta grade papers. Well, that's the life that I have right now. And gotta make sure I have all my grades in. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Hope you learned something and thank you for joining me on my journey through Proverbs. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.